So we're talking about a half-year review on what we thought have been our picks so far. So we're June now. We're June now. So I don't know. By the time we end up putting this out, this episode might be July, but whatever. We did it in June.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about what our favourite picks are, and also I don't know. Maybe sometimes what we've got waiting. So if we've got anything that we're looking forward to. But Terry, tell me about yours.
Oh, wait, I've got so many. So far, I mean, for me, it's been another stellar year. I mean, I know we talked about this on another podcast. It's been such a good year for music, like the previous two, really. But top of my list is... it's been there quite consistently since it came out, is Conjurer.
Now, you saw it live as well,
yeah, I did, and my God, did they fucking destroyed the place, mate. Unbelievable. The heaviness and fucking bite.
Tip for the future?
Definitely.
I mean, think they're going to go on to bigger things?
Immeasurably, mate. If they don't,
there's an injustice going on.
Well, if they don't, I'll be surprised. I really will be surprised. They ripped the place apart. I mean, another album that's in my halfway is Palm Reader, and which Conjurer was supporting.
All right.
Palm Reader are amazing live as well. Don't get me wrong, and that album is fucking fantastic.
I'm getting the vibe though that you thought Conjurer were better than Palm Reader.
Yeah, they were a little bit, even though they were, they looked like fucking kids fresh out of college. Which I was like, fucking hell, but it was all really nice. I bought a t-shirt, £10. Big up Conjurer for that.
You've got to love seeing bands when they're on the first album and the merch price is fucking cheap.
I loved it. I could have bought all the fucking merch that night. But anyway, if you haven't heard their album, Maya, please do go check it out. If you're after something so bastard ever you feel your bowels move, then Conjurer the band for you.
That's quite an endorsement there.
They're absolutely fantastic for how young they are as well, and for spitting this album out. I mean, I'm so impressed with it. It is I'll tell you now, it's definitely going to be in my end of year list.
Wow.
This is like the halfway, but Conjurer for me.
I think it's really nice because you acknowledge the fact that they are young kids.
Yeah, they are.
And normally you tend to find that, when people start music really young, it's always used as a derogatory term. It's like, these kids on stage. And sometimes, like they're that small that sometimes like the bass guitar drowns them. But it's just like, look, if they've been brought up by really cool parents, this is the kind of music that we enjoy, and then those kids are going, I want to learn how to play guitar or learn how to play the drums, and then they release a killer album. Yeah. Does it really matter if they're 16, 17, 18, they can barely grow a moustache?
Not at all.
Or they're in the late 20s. Who gives a shit if the music's good?
Not at all, mate.
And that's the whole point about metal. We're not supposed to care about that.
No.
I'm actually super jealous about that, because I fucking wish that I started playing guitar when I was like fucking 5 or some shit. That'd be so much fun.
I think when I was 16, 17, I was hiding Men Onlys under my mattress.
Half a fucking boob on a ripped page.
Yeah. The grass.
Like you said about young bands being dwarfed by the stage and stuff, and by cabs and shit like that. Conjurer did not have that problem.
Really?
They fucking own that stage.
But that's the thing that we're like talking about, like kids, like they don't belong there. But
if they've got songs to back it up.
Oh, mate.
You got the songs, then
yeah. Have any of you two listened to Maya?
Yes.
Yeah, I listened to it.
What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
It's fucking and that's even like it's fucking crushing.
Yeah.
On CD.
Yeah.
It's even more crushing live. It fucking it nearly punches straight through.
Do you know what? This is probably the right. I think if these had come out in the 90s, when all you had was Metal Hammer and Kerrang, they probably would have been hyped by those bands if they'd been on a big label. But then people would have written them off as saying, they've been paid for, they've been pushed by the man, blah 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 blah. But I think in this era of Spotify, where you don't have the album, you can't open it up. let's face facts here, you know, Metal Hammer's gone bankrupt twice, so went bankrupt or went under, Future sold it to someone else, it went under, and then Future bought it back at a bargain. People aren't reading print anymore.
No.
You know, you just hit something on Spotify, you've got the new Metal Tracks playlist, which just peppers like knows new stuff, and people are going to listen to that. They're going to hear a Conjurer track. They're going to know those kids are in their late teens. They're not going to see pictures, and they're going to go, this fucking rips. Do you know what? People complain about digital music, but it's the great leveler. If you've got great songs to back it up, don't matter fuck how old you are, you know, your gender, it don't matter. It's just like you've got the songs to back it up, you'll do well. And you know what?
Don't matter if you're 15 or
the way you're raving about
55.
Exactly. There's been a bunch of fucking artists recently that I've gotten into and then realised that it's just one dude.
Yeah.
And like, who gives a fuck? If it's good music, it's good music.
And if they can get themselves good backing bands to take them on tour and then play those songs live, who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Well, you sound,
Yeah, go fucking... Whatever you do, just go check Conjurer out, please.
I think they're playing Bloodstock as well, aren't they?
They're playing Bloodstock, they're playing Techfest, they're really getting themselves out there. I think they're playing Art Tangent as well.
So I'm going to Bloodstock and Techfest, so I'll be definitely seeing them twice.
They're really...
Techfest woo there, everyone!
I hope they come across as much as they did to me in a small venue in Nottingham.
I'm sure they will.
They fucking crushed that time. But yeah, any of you guys want to pick something?
There's been a couple of bands out this year that I didn't think that I'd be hearing from because they're just, I don't know. There's some of those bands that don't release shit that often.
Yeah.
First being Sleep.
That was surprisingly released as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, like out of fucking nowhere
on 420 day.
Obviously on 420. That was fucking awesome. Because I got into Sleep quite late on, so I've never really experienced a new Sleep album coming out. They've just always been around.
True, yeah.
Because I think the last one before that was 1993.
Something like that, yeah.
What the fuck?
They've probably been stoned this whole time and just woken up and thought, oh, well, let's do a new album.
I mean, let's hope. I know obviously Matt Pike's been doing like High on Fire.
Yeah, I really like High on Fire, to be honest.
I've been doing On stuff, which I'm really into as well. That was cool. I really enjoyed seeing the new Earthless EP. I don't know whether you guys have...
No, I haven't checked that out yet.
Earthless, last thing I think they released was a 4-track EP back in 2014, I think it was. They're like you would believe that they were from the 70s. Everything sounds like an absolute prog rock band.
70s love child.
So 70s. And they're fucking great actually. I mean, I ain't condoning this or anything, but if you get them high, get high to Earthless. So,
you heard it here first, people.
That's fucking sweet. I've also loved the new Darling Thundering concept album.
Yeah, another good album.
The shit. They're like super proggy. They're bringing out some real different shit. And I don't know. You know, like when you think about a gent band, and that isn't necessarily a positive or a negative, but you kind of know what you're gonna get. The Darling Thundering concept. I don't know, they've just changed that completely. You have no idea what the fuck they're going to do on this latest album.
Really?
They do like some jazz shit, there's like saxophone, there's fucking everything.
You see,
it's like electronic concepts and things. That fucking album is crazy.
With saxophones, do you think, like, with a lot of bands, like, we're going to come on to talk about a band who does it really well, and a band that I reviewed on the blog, it's 2018, the year of the saxophone.
I think you could be onto I think you might be onto something there, Terry. I think 2018 is the year of saxophones there. In the words of Randall, taking it back.
It is, because it seems to be cropping up more and more and more on the albums that are coming across our paths, doesn't it?
It does indeed. I remember way back when Hate Eternal tried a didgeridoo in an album, and that just kind of seemed like, here's a didgeridoo, just so because they released an album, they're didgeridooing it.
Yeah.
Like you say, we're now on 3 albums that featured prominent sax bits.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I think you're right. 2018, year of the sax.
Yeah, year of the sax. You were there first as well.
As I said on episode 1, I mean, I'm into it. Whatever. If it works, it works. But yeah, they're fucking doing all sorts of shit on that. Another album I've liked, but this may fall off the chart depending on what else I'm going to enjoy for the rest of the year, is the Cabal album. I like half of it.
Same.
But I don't know whether it's quite strong enough to stick in the top 10.
Yeah.
But as I say, it depends on what else comes out. I also wanted to touch on the Isham album, considering we've used that on the first episode.
Yeah, our inaugural podcast.
I've been listening to that shitloads, and I've taken a lot of inspiration from it as well.
Cool.
As Jay mentioned today, I've recently got a Halusi, which is a Chinese recorder kind of instrument with a gourd on it.
If anyone doesn't know, it's like you could summon a magic carpet on it.
Either that or really fucking piss off my dog.
Yeah.
And you also get the 2-string.
Yeah, I'm getting a Earthu, which is like 2-string banjo that you play with like a bow. Also from China.
And the accordion.
And I've got a crazy
old school accordion.
That I'm going to learn how to play as well. So clearly it's made some kind of impact and effect.
Yeah.
Well,
that album has definitely influenced you now with your desire to get all these instruments.
Isham, holy fuck.
I'm glad that. It's the first podcast, and I picked that album, and it's really fucking blown your two skirt up, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, just a bit. Certainly, it's going to trouble my top 10. Yeah, 100%.
I'm shook. So, on to you, Joe.
Yeah, alright. I'm going to pick two. There's been a lot of great stuff out, but for my true top 10, I'm going to wait till sort of November, December. But I think two that I want to talk about, because we didn't. Well, one we've talked about in episode 1, and I'm going to revisit it. But one we've not spoke about is Harakiri for the Sky's latest album, Arson. Now, again, this is going to sound like I'm hail corporate and I'm getting sponsored and paid by Spotify. Let me tell you, there's nothing further from the truth. I get no kickback from Spotify, but
we'd love it.
There is a Spotify playlist called New Metal Tracks, and that's NEW, not NU. And what they'll do is they'll just literally block singles from various bands and stuff that's coming out. So, a little over a year ago, so it was towards the end of 2016, I heard one of the tracks from Harakiri for the Sky's Trauma album. And it just blew me away. I was not normally, before that point, someone who would be a fan of post-rock, post-metal, whatever. But I heard that and heard one from Alcest's latest. And for the final sort of November and December of 2016, and then January 2017, February 2017, I was smashing those two albums. So Alcest and Harakiri for the Sky, they kind of just scraped into my year-end top 10 for 2016. And it's not taken long for Harakiri for the Sky to follow Trauma with Arson. You talk like 14 months, and you normally think about bands and their album release and touring cycles.
Pretty swift,
That's
isn't it?
A fast turnaround.
It is quick. But not quick enough for them to just be like, this is shit that we'd already
they've still definitely spent some time on it.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, this is a shit B-sides album, there you go.
We'd recorded 30 tracks during Trauma.
Yeah.
Why do I keep mispronouncing Trauma? I quote Family Guy far too much. Trauma, insurance fraud. I quote Family Guy far too much. That's why I'm mispronouncing words. But Trauma isn't as good as Arson isn't as good as Trauma. That said, it still is of quality to make my year-end top 10, because that was my first sort of snap judgment. Is Arson isn't as good as Trauma. Some of the songs for Harakiri for the Sky are faster, and I think that's the kind of thing that threw me, that they weren't the 9-minute sort of expansive soundscape type tracks. There was something a bit more in your face.
A slightly different type of
and I wasn't expecting that, but then, do you know what? When I re-listened to it, I'm like, do you know what? They're not going to release the same album again and again and again. So I sort of revisited and went, this is not Trauma Part 2, it's its own thing. And once listening to it like that way, yes, it's still not as good as Trauma, but it's still a bloody strong release.
Yeah.
The songs are long. You've got some that are way over 6-7 minutes. So it's certainly not a kind of a pop on for 3 minutes in the background and then nip somewhere else. It's the kind of thing that takes you on a journey. That's the kind of thing I don't think. I mean, I want to see them play live, but you wouldn't ever say that any of their songs feel, going to get a circle pit going. I think I want to see them live, but I'll be happy just listening to them on record, put my headphones on or a good speaker, and let it play.
It's one of those bands that you may want to see at a festival, but you may want to see at a festival at like 5 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yes.
Where you just fucking
That's it. I am.
And you are.
You're hanging out your arse.
That's it.
You're just all that.
I'm at the end of my tether. I'm like, oh.
I remember seeing Dredge at that, and oh my god, I was so fucking loved up. I was hugging everybody around me and shit, and it was just perfect.
Dredge.
And I can imagine that being the same kind of thing.
That's it. There would be a perfect Sunday, sort of late afternoon, early evening, sort of as we start to stretch towards the headliners. So I do want to see them live, but they're not the kind of thing. I could be wrong, but I somehow don't imagine the vocalist for Harakiri ever going, I want to see the biggest fucking circle pit, open this shit up.
Yeah.
It's not that type of music, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. So that's Harakiri for the Sky, and then the other one, which we discussed on episode 1, is Rivers of Nile. Where owls know my name. So I loved The Conscious Seed of Light. That was absolutely killer. And then Monarchy kind of... It's not a bad album, but it wasn't as good as The Conscious Seed of Light. So I think as a result of that, I wasn't really looking actively for their third album. But it came out, I thought, well, I like the first, I'll give it a listen. Why not? And Jesus Christ, this album just blew me away. I mean, if the first album blows away Monarchy, if The Conscious Seed of Light blows away Monarchy, Where Owls Know My Name just blasts them both out of water.
I think it pretty much, well, barring on one release that I'm waiting for if it happens.
Tool.
Yeah. Well, I'll kind of speak about that because that's...
We know it's happening, but we don't know when it...
But this pretty much fucking blows everything out the water this year.
It blends genres. It's... I mean, the thing is, the way you know something special is, they could go on like, let's say some booking agency got, I don't know, Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, Cattle Decapitation, and then Rivers of Nile as a package tour. That would fit.
Definitely.
But then you could probably put them on Techfest.
Yeah.
You could probably even, at a push, definitely at a push, you could probably put them on Arctangent with this album. You could certainly put them on Damnation. Yeah. Because it isn't just straight up death metal. They blend so many styles. I talked about in episode 1, the electronica that breaks the album, like the classic vinyl approach of A-side, B-side.
Then the Kenny G moments.
And then the Kenny G moments, and then you've got Mr. Bungle crazy ass sax moments. You've got the smooth sax, but then you've got the bonkers sax. It's and a lot of the longer songs as well. It reminds me of Black Crown Initiates, the last album, because they seem to have jumped from like, this is Rivers of Nile now, seem to have jumped from 4 5 minute long songs to 5 6 7 minute long songs. And that's not to say that Rivers of Nile sound like Black Crown, they don't, but it just seems to be like really stretching themselves and pushing the boundaries.
Of the song, they know that they can go further with certain bits.
That's it, they're not content just to fucking do the bog standard.
It ain't like fucking verse, chorus.
Exactly. It's, words right out of my mouth. And this is in my top 3. Potentially, if nothing else comes out from Slow, this could be my #1 record of the year, but it's certainly in my top 3.
In agreement. I'm totally in agreement with this album. It means it stretches.
I'm not taking back on the payments from Rivers and Nile either, just to be clear.
Because I'm now going to say also Rivers and Nile. Now I didn't mention Rivers and Nile, but in episode 1, Jay and Terry introduced me to a new Rivers and Nile album, and after recording that, I went and listened to the whole thing, and comes on, and holy fucking shit. That is fucking sweet, everything about it. So it's one of those albums that you get to near the end, so you think that it's near the end, but it may only be like, I don't know, fucking
track
6
3
or 7.
I've got such a big grin watching you describe this, man.
And then you get near that and you're like, oh man, I don't want this to end. This is just fucking beautiful.
You see, me and him have already been through this because we met up in the pub and we was like, fuck me, how good is this fucking Rivers? And we was going at it for nearly an hour.
Exactly. It just, I don't know, everything flows, everything fits. It's almost like you're getting a different band on each song.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, good point, that is.
I fucking loved it. That is most definitely on my top 10 this year. I don't think anything can beat that. As for what else we've got, I really don't know. But I think that's gone through what we have thus far.
Well, I've got loads here, but
Give us a quick summary.
A quick summary, right. So on mine, I've got Rollo Tomasi, Will Haven, Palm Reader, Bleed From Within, A Perfect Circle, Grey Haven, Spanish Love Songs, and Mole. Which Rollo Tomasi and Mole are both on Holy Raw Records, which we spoke about the Saltbard album.
God damn, they're on it.
Yeah, I was going to say Holy Raw are really fucking knocking it out of the park. But the last little thing to say is I'm going to go on, because we've been on the heavy side. I'm going to go in the Perfect Circle album, which is dividing a lot of people.
Okay.
Dividing a lot of people, but I absolutely fucking adore this album.
That's what it's all about.
Fucking adore it.
We ain't picking albums that, you know...
The brutalist.
Yeah, the fucking public one.
This is more...
This is my top 10. You know?
Yeah. Don't expect Mere de Noms or fucking 13th Step from this album. It's a really chilled out. If you want to fucking, like Luke mentioned earlier, if you want to have a smoke or have a beer or just fucking even chill out in the bath, this album will fucking do it all for you. And to me, it's good to have fucking Maynard James Keenan back singing. I love his voice. I mean,
I personally
I could hear him sing all day in my eyes.
This is why we don't necessarily understand the new album. It's because it's been so long since we've had the last album.
Yeah, I love it.
Now,
I love it.
I spoke about Sleep earlier, like last fucking release they had was like 1993 or something, but they haven't changed. Sleep is Sleep, but Perfect Circle and the people in them are all from different bands, so they're clearly evolving in different places, so you have to build something different.
And you know with Maynard, he's not going to make it easy for you.
Exactly.
He never does.
I mean, when was 13th Step? I think it was like fucking 2003.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So like, this is like fucking 15 years release. That we've last heard from A Perfect Circle. Now I know that he's released a couple of Pucifer albums in that time.
Yeah.
But it's the first we've heard from this group of people.
You see, Pucifer.
They're putting together.
Pucifer, I don't like.
I kind of like Pucifer.
See,
I really like
but
Pucifer.
Perfect
I like the
Circle.
electronic fucking crazy edge to Pucifer.
This new Perfect Circle album. I mean, even Jay mentioned on it. He's like, when we met up in the pub again, making us sound like alcoholics. But he was looking and he says, "You're fucking caning that Perfect Circle album," because that's all that was on my Spotify.
Yeah.
And I was literally battering it, and this is going to be in my top 10 without a shadow of doubt. Have any of you guys heard it? The full thing?
I'm going to hold my hand up and say no.
I've gone through a few tracks.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's the album for me right at this moment, because I feel that sometimes you hear an album, I feel like it does a depression perfectly. But that may not be what I want to hear right now.
With this... Well, the name of this podcast and everything, and with me in my state of mind and everything like that, it really hit the fucking spot for me.
Yeah.
Really did.
And this is what we're always talking about on this podcast, is that talking about metal, talking about music, talking about really anything that you are passionate about, helps And like, I don't know, hearing music does as well.
And hearing it sung by Maynard James Keenan makes it all better in my eyes.
Who I know is like, you know, fucking
Yeah,
Lord Saviour to you.
he is, mate. I couldn't. Mate, I would definitely back for the other team for him.
So the second half of the year then, so what we're looking forward to. So Terry, I know your Tool.
Hopefully, if it's coming, then my God, am I going to be so excited.
I honestly don't know what's coming. There's nothing past this part of the year that I know that is coming. I would like to, but I don't know whether.
I think one thing's definite because the touring in December is we all know there's been a new Clutch album this year.
Oh, fuck yeah! And the new track is fucking sweet, as is, well, you know, all Clutch.
Yeah.
It's a given at this point, isn't it?
Everyone fucking loves Clutch.
Yeah.
And if you don't, sort your life out.
Yeah, if you don't, what's going on? What's going on? The only other thing I was going to say is the new Iconoclast album. I don't know whether that's actually out this year though, because there hasn't actually been any kind of release put out for that.
Oh, and there's also
I put the track on the Fire Tracks on the blog,
Yeah.
so if you visit metalhealth.co.uk and go to Fire Track, you'll see a few tracks that I put on there throughout May, and they're on there. But I don't know when that's out. Whenever it is, I want it.
something that's popped in my head that they're in the studio right now is we might get new Deftones before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Now, I had problems with Gore. Jay will testify to this.
Yes, you did.
I listened to Gore to death. I really wanted to like it. I think I listened to Gore more than I've probably listened to any other album in my life. Because I absolutely adore Deftones. Don't get me wrong.
It's kind of like a fart. If you force it, it'll be shit.
But I really didn't vibe with Gore. But I'm hopefully, from what I've heard from this album, is Stefan is getting more involved in the writing process. Because apparently on Gore, he had fuck all to do with it.
I've noticed that again, so this is almost like the TikTok I was talking about with Machine Head Lives. I've noticed that like...
Because in Deftones, there's always that push and pull.
There's always that TikTok album, that's it, where Chino kind of is very much the band leader. It's like, you can go away, Stefan. And it's always like they're a divisive album, and they go, oh, we must let Stefan write the riffs again.
And as soon as you let Stefan write the riffs, all the fucking good shit comes out, in my opinion.
All the grooves.
All the grooves,
I've got some fucking opinions about Deftones. Okay, so as you mentioned, TikTok.
Yeah.
Much like Sun Up, Moon Down.
Yeah.
We've got Fat Chino, Thin Chino. We've also got
Savage.
Good album, bad album.
Now I know what you mean.
I don't say bad album that this happens all the time, but I honestly can't remember the last 3 Deftones albums. Now the reason I'm doing this podcast is because me, Jay and Terry had a chat about just chatting shit about metal. And this was
chatting shit, not talking shit. We don't like to criticise people for the sake of it.
Shooting the shit, doing something with shit, and but I was actually talking to my girlfriend about Deftones, and I got on a fucking stupid rampage about I can't even remember this many Deftones albums, and it was like the last 3, maybe 4 that I maybe listened to once, and this may be because I grew up with Adrenaline and Around the Fur, and it's a different band.
White Pony.
Even White Pony was a different band from Adrenaline and Around the Fur.
Yeah.
And that, in a way, is a good thing because you evolve as a band. You start off as something raw and savage, and then you go into a next stage where you're more produced and you fit better as a band.
Yeah.
But
I do like the Deftones progression over the years.
They moved on to a more progressive and almost soundscapey.
Because I feel like
very soundscapey.
I feel like they haven't changed again for about 4 albums.
They've had that pattern.
Yeah.
And when a new Deftones album comes out now, I don't really care. Whereas I did before. I really looked forward to a new Deftones album. And now I'm just like, I think I might like it.
Yeah.
I might not. Who knows?
I always built myself up for Deftones as well. I always get stupidly excited for a new Deftones album.
Because it's our fucking
era.
Yeah,
It's your era.
I get stupidly excited for it. And then I listen to it and go, oh, you could do better than this.
Yeah.
Especially on Gore. I know a lot of people like Gore, but Gore for me, and like I said again, Jay testified, he will testify.
Tried so hard to like that.
Mate, I've tried so hard with Gore, and a few tracks clicked, but the rest of it didn't.
But I knew from experience today, because I kept telling him, like, this is what I was trying to do with Roots. I tried to like Roots. I loved Beneath the Remains. I loved The Rise. And I loved Chaos AD. And the thing is, those 3 albums are different. Beneath the Remains, death metal. Arise, thrash metal. Chaos AD, thrash and groove, but literally with their own spin. You couldn't say they were copying Pantera. You couldn't say they were copying Slayer. They've got their own fucking weird, thrashy groove, but even a bit of hardcore sound. To the fact that fucking Paolo wore a Sick of It All shirt in the album sleeve cover. And but it was this bizarre, punky, hardcore, thrashy, groovy album, and I'm like, they have found their sound now, because it doesn't sound like they're copying anything. And then Roots. Oh god. And I tried to, like, this can't suck. I'll listen to it again. No, it really sucks. I'll give it a little listen. I must have not been right for anyone, man. And then for 2-3 years I ignored it.
That's the thing, you can't push it.
Exactly, if you force it, you're never going to like it.
Like I was trying to do with Gore, I was really trying my hardest to fucking like it. I really was.
I'm going to, so my one for this year, and I can't believe this was on the metal blogs in like January. So Black Crown Initiate posted a 30-second Instagram clip of them in the studio. And yet if you Google it now, that's the matches that you find. It's January 2018. But one thing I did find is that Andy from Black Crown provided the clean vocals for the title track on Rivers of Nihil, where Owls Know My Name. Because I think they're both from Pennsylvania, if I think, or they're very similar regions of America. But that is, holy shit, if they get that album out before the close of this year, I think they could be 2 very proggy death metal companion piece albums. Also, I'm looking forward to Clutch, like Terry and Luke. If Tool comes out, I will listen to the shit out of that. But
we will do a special on that.
I love Black Crown's Cells You Cannot Forgive. That's going back to 2016, so I'm really not going to do a review on that. It's a 2-year-old album now, but I still listen to that even to this day. That wants to give you an idea of the strength of that album. So I'm only hoping for good things from the new Black Crown. So that is my wish, that between June and December of 2018 that they bash out another new album that beats Cells You Cannot Forgive, because that was a belter an album.
Yeah, it was, mate. It was. I mean, we waxed lyrical about that again, didn't we?
In the pub, was it?
Yeah. What a surprise.
Tech Fest, if you're looking for bands to book for 2019, book Rivers of Nihil, book Black Crown Initiate,
and another band.
Capitation.
And Foreboding Ether.
And Foreboding Ether.
And another band as well that are British, which you probably wouldn't expect me to really like, but I really like, we've talked about the halfway albums, Rollo Tomasi. I mean, to most people...
I thought they'd split up.
You did, there you go. People thought these band up, but this new album is absolutely fantastic. Yet again, this album's on Holy Roar. Which again,
holy shit! How many bands is this label got?
I'm telling you, Holy Roar are fucking killing it this year. They absolutely are. But yeah, if you haven't heard Rollo Tomasi's new album, it's fantastic from start to finish. It takes you on such a journey. It is unbelievable.
I've seen them alive a couple of times now, and they are fucking nuts and great.
Yeah.
They're a great band, and again, a great UK band.
And I'm going to give them props just for the fact that clearly with Rollo Tomasi they're acknowledging LA Confidential, which is a fucking brilliant film. So yeah, can't fault.
And a shout out for the band in the background that you're hearing now. This is a band that come across my path a lot of time, and it talks about a lot of the lead singer talks about a lot of depression and stuff, and he puts it into so much perfect words of how I feel on a daily basis. This is Spanish Love Songs. But yeah, if you like the Men Singers or what else now?
I got to admit, I haven't actually listened to this band yet.
And yeah,
let's get it on.
Yeah, Spanish Love Songs. If you listen to this, yeah, it's got total It's totally speaking about depression. He lost his friend from the band he was speaking about earlier. It's from, I can't remember his name now. But the singer from this band was really good friends with him in Rabbit something, you remember?
Oh, not a metal band, are they? It's something Rabbit. He committed suicide.
Rabbit.
That's it.
Yeah.
The lead singer of Spanish love songs is really good friends with him, and he lost him. And if you listen to the album, it's like, to me, it just clicked. You know, we're like having mental health problems myself, as we all do around this table. He put it into so many good words for me that it's like I really connected with him, even though it's not a band that's really heavy.
Frightened Rabbit.
Yeah, Frightened Rabbit, thanks, Joe. But yeah, it's such a good album, just completely out of nowhere. I mean, I really love the Menzingers album last year. If you like the Menzingers, and give them a shot because they're fucking brilliant.
I'm just going to echo something that Terry said from episode 1 as well, because he's just brought something up very serious then, and I'm just going to add to that now. Like Luke said, we've got a Twitter, we've got a Facebook page, we've got a blog. Just comment if you need to talk.
Any one of us will get back to you.
We'll reply. We'll direct message you if you need to. But if music and metal is your outlet and you don't feel like you can talk to your family or your best mates,
or even your dog, speak to us.
Yeah, give us a shout, because you know that us three, we come together, and rather than sort of bottling shit up
and fighting it on our own,
we're having a great time just by sort of talking shit
Yeah.
being in great company. But you know what, we're strangers, and that might actually make you feel a bit more comfortable to shoot as a private message.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
I'll definitely, anyone fires us a Twitter or on our Facebook, I'll definitely reply.
And just to pass them out again, it's Twitter is @MentalHealthPod. We've also got a Facebook group. If you search for mental health in, I guess it's a UK group. And you can also go check out our blog, anything that we put up at mentalhealth.co.uk. Right, so we're going to go and talk about something else now.
So you've just been listening to Home by Rivers of Nile, on their last album that we've been raving on about for what feels like weeks or months or whatever.
It's fantastic.
Yep, real good. Everyone should get to listen to it. It's on Spotify, go check it out. What we're talking about now is comfort albums, really. What are your go-to albums for, I don't know, that you've listened to for ages, no matter what mood you're in, you go back to, or even if you've got like certain albums or certain bands that you go to when you're in different types of moods, like edging on from, we're talking about mental health awareness as always, and I feel like we haven't really put as much into it as we could, so I'm gonna like share a little bit of detail with you now. So I put it out to the floor. Has anyone got any go-to albums that are go-to for any mood, whatever you're in? You're like, I know I'm going to go listen to that and it's going to be fucking sick, because it always is.
I think now, if it was a Take Me Away album, I can always go to Crack the Sky. Purely because that, if ever there's a band where you can use the phrase it takes you on a journey, that is most certainly the album that will do that. Although what I've started doing more, since I don't listen to it, but there's the instrumental version with no lyrics. So that's not saying I don't mind the lyrics and vocals, but just every so often what I'll do now to mix it up is I'll listen to the instrumental score for Crack the Sky.
Cool.
You still get the same musical beats, and that's it. It's just the music. It's no vocals. But that's kind of one that is definitely. I mean, that's probably quite a new album for me since I got into the genre in the 90s. I mean, that's just as we're hitting the 2010. It was just 2009, I think.
Yeah,
about that came out. So it was in the 2000s. So comparatively new. It's probably coming to 10 years anniversary. But it is one that I think consistently, I don't think there's a month goes by where I don't turn to it at least once, where I don't sort of pop it out and play it at least. And I'm talking when I play it, start to finish.
Yeah.
So that's my first one that comes to mind. We'll bounce around, but that's kind of regardless of mood, I turn to.
Yeah.
On a different note, do you remember when we went to see them? And they did the whole album back
Crack the Sky, Full of Nottingham.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
fucking lovely, that was, wasn't it?
That
Yes.
album with the DVD that's got like all of the visualizations on it as well. Those visualizations are fucking crazy.
They know packaging. They know how to make it a full thing.
Well, I guess they know their audience, don't they?
They do. I was lucky actually because I saw them play it in full twice, because I saw them do it in Sheffield as well. And to this day, I'm very thankful of that. There's a lot of gigs that I'm gutted that I missed. That is most definitely one that I chalk up to. Thank fuck I didn't miss.
Yeah, that was a nice little get from me as well, wasn't it? So I certainly did sneak to some tickets.
Yes, yeah. You knew someone at the venue at the time. That was very handy.
Well, Luke will know who it is. It's an old friend of ours from Louth.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, so from Jay's, I will go to my one's always Tool, Anima. I absolutely adore this album. No matter what mood I'm in, if I listen to any track off this album, barring the interludes that they have on there, it's just an outstanding album, and I can't even believe it was released in 1996.
It's fucking crazy. I remember you being like the fucking biggest Tool fan ever in the world.
I still am.
You wouldn't let anybody like look at your Tool
My box set, yeah.
Oh, I got that box set, and
Did you?
people wanted to borrow it from me, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, but everyone was fucking looking at it. It's like, oh, Terry, let me know. I was like, you touch that, I'll break your arm.
Yeah. Was that like the middle finger? That
Yeah.
middle finger, like you can fuck right off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone wanted to rip. They've gone, oh, I just want to rip the DVD. I want to rip the live CD. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
I'll be ripping your soul out of your body
no.
if you touch that fucking.
that stays in the house.
Okay.
Can't you see? I must admit, Justin Chancellor now, going about you mentioning the age, Luke, and being in the 90s.
Yeah.
Some of the shots I've seen of Justin, and he's grown a full beard and he's trimmed neat, and you think, my God, he looks like he should be teaching a class in university somewhere.
Right.
But that's it.
He
You think
probably
now
does.
they are like now the elder statesmen, aren't they, of this type of progressive music. You know what I mean? They are going to be kind of like
But yeah, I mean,
the trendsetters that so many bands must be trying to chase their coattail. So yeah, you said it's 1996. But you think about it, how many bands still try and ape that kind of tool, and they never get it right.
I'll still now 2018. I will still put Tool. I'll still put the album up against any other album nowadays, and I reckon it'll beat it fucking hands down.
Yeah. Even the recording quality is good.
It's timeless, that album. Absolutely fucking timeless.
Which is probably one thing that I can say about the Mastodon one as well.
Yeah. Totally in agreement with that one.
That's cool because they're like, I don't know. I guess they're like modern classics.
Yeah. And everything. I mean, another thing I'm going to get, and everything endeared me to Tool and that album was just the fucking videos and everything as well. That was out at the time.
Just the whole aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's just like fucking. You'd not seen anything like that, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And I feel like they really defined like a genre of like music video as well. Because even to this day, whenever you see like a video with like a creepy fucking stick man or some shit,
you're like, it's a bit like Tool.
Yeah, it's like a Tool video.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine's a bit more newer than that, I guess. The Contortionist, Language, which isn't their last album, but it was the one just before that.
And proper 20-teens, aren't you?
Yeah. And that it took me a while to get into it. I don't know why. I think it was because I was used to slightly older Contortionist, and they were a much heavier band. But they went way more proggy, and I didn't get it to start with. But when I did, it really hit me home. And I don't know, everything works together. It's so varied and different, and I think it's got like bits on each song of, I don't know, a different little mood structure. There's something in there for every way I'm feeling, really, and that's a fucking crazy thing to say about an album, because usually, as I say, we're talking about like stuff that you listen to in different moods. I definitely have different stuff that I listen to in different moods, but that album, I don't know, I can go to it whenever. It's really accessible.
See, I mean, another one for me is Pantera. You give me any Pantera album, it immediately puts me in a fucking good mood. I don't know why.
With the exception of Cowboys, I'm not, out of all of them, I think I've listened to Cowboys less.
Right.
I think I've even listened to Reinventing the Steel more than I have.
See, I would say that's my least listened to. Pantera is Reinvented. I think other bands then, other albums that I listen to. So there's kind of. So I listen to Heartwork on a stupidly regular basis. Carcass's Heartwork.
Can't blame you on that one.
Stupidly regular. Snapcase's Progression to Unlearning. Again, chronically regular amount of times. And then a couple of times, and then every so often I think what I do is I chase literally the summer. No, not Roots, Terry. For all you listeners, this is Terry's just latched on an in-joke. For my sins, and I'll probably get lambasted for this, but I fucking hate Roots. And this is come from someone who liked KSAD as well. So I'm not one of these elitists who only likes Beneath Remains and Arise and then hated KSAD. I thought KSAD was where they found the sound. And then the problem was, a year and a half later, new metal exploded, and Max Cavalera got fucking Ross Robinson to produce Roots, and it's awful. And I hate, as much as Monty Connor signed a load of killer bands to Roadrunner, I hate his justification of Roots as an album, going, like Roots is like their least complex song as concerns guitar work, but it's their most popular. I'm like, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's something great.
Sorry, listeners, I've set him off now.
Fucking Justin Bieber.
Fucking unearthed this.
We'll be here for about fucking 4.5 hours.
I'm going to stop now before this becomes a runaway train. So yeah, my regular go-tos, not Roots. So Carcass Heartwork, Snapcase Progression to Unlearning, which are both coincidentally 90s albums.
Yeah.
And I think then there's a couple of ones which I don't listen to as regular. Those two certainly because they made a massive impact, because I don't think anything sounded like them.
Yeah.
So that's why, and because when you hear them, you're like, wow, it's start to finish, stone cold classic. And then there's some albums that I listen to, and I know full well it's me chasing my childhood, because they're albums that I heard in my teenage
And they're just
years.
like purely nostalgic.
That's it. So nostalgia trip. You've got Anthrax, Persistence of Time. Every so often I dip into that. Seasons in the Abyss, because it was the first Slayer album I heard, so I'll dip into that every so often. Metallica, Justice for All. I bought the Black Album the day after I bought Justice for All, and then I kind of ignored the Black Album for like months on end and just focused on Justice for All. So they're probably my three sort of thrashy, because that's the thing. Once heard Metallica, that would just put me on a thrash path, and people like, you need to listen to this, you need to listen to that, you know, fuck the Black Album, listen to Justice for All. They're my sort of three chasing sort of teenage sort of, you know, discovery years. Then more recently, I suppose we could put post 2000. I still re-listen to Killswitch Engage, Alive or Spreading a heck of a lot. Every so often, I will dip into the Blackening.
Yeah, that's going to be one of mine as well.
Times of Grace, the self-titled side project of Killswitch. I listen to a lot. And then, I know a lot of people wail on this band, but I know you're not one of them, Luke. You like them. And there's two albums that I will revisit quite regularly, and these are when I do need picking up and I might be feeling a bit down maybe, or I need something angry and really fire up the blood. And I'd probably equate it to, if I'm listening to Mastodon, I'm having like a medium rare steak meal somewhere nice. These two albums I listen to if I just want a quick pick me up. It's like a Burger King meal. I'll listen to Chimera's Impossibility of Reason and their self-titled.
Fuck yeah.
And those two, just if I'm in a shitty mood, I can just pull that on and it's just
Another one always brings a smile to my face as well is Down, Nola.
I said that to you, didn't I,
you
Luke,
said
before
this
Terry got
earlier.
here? The two Down albums, Nola and Bustling Your Head Around.
Yeah.
Always put a smile on my face. If I could just fucking stick that in if I'm driving. It's perfect to drive to, that album.
And what you've not mentioned, which is shocking coming from you for putting a smile on your face, Clutch's Earth Rocker.
Clutch's Earth Rocker.
Fuck me.
That was going to
That's a big beaming grin album, that is.
Any Clutch basically will put a big beam. Well, should put a big beaming smile on your face.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got a couple of Clutch albums. Well, a Clutch album like Good Times, for picking me up, for me is Blast Tyrant. I think Blast Tyrant's just such a fucking good, solid, well-rounded album.
Yes,
great
you
album.
get everything you need to know about Clutch in that album. And also, I had an Anthrax album in that, Sound of White Noise, which is also possibly a nostalgic one because it was maybe second Anthrax album I heard, but the first one that really got me. And
and that was the first one with Bush on vocals.
Yeah.
So they did change those. You know, they've changed how they wrote the riffs a bit.
But I also got funny to pick me up Flux Conduct, last album Yet Sahara, which is a side project John Brown from Monuments.
Right.
And he's got a guest vocalist on it. I forget his name. It's Rene something or other. And he's just got such a fucking awesome singing voice, and it's just, I don't know, it's like super upbeat, but it still sounds kind of like Monuments. And John Brown's got a very specific way of playing that's pretty recognisable, and like, I don't know, hearing it with like different vocals and, you know, completely different songs and shit is awesome. I love it. That always puts me in a good mood. But also I got like my angry and stressed music.
What are your hits then? What are your go-tos?
The shit that I tend to put on when I'm, I don't know, probably mostly at work, is Fit for an Autopsy's The Great Collapse that came out,
I need to get that more listens, to be honest.
So good.
Because I love the first one.
It kind of, I feel it peters off towards the end, but I feel it peters off towards the end like an old metal album did. Like Metallica tracks towards the end of an album tend to be a little longer and a little softer in sections and, you know, a little more epic.
Trying to stretch the legs a little.
Exactly, so it's like, it harkens back.
We've hit you hard and fast for the first 4 or 5 tracks. Now we're going to second half album, we're going to do something different. Not massively, but
yeah, and I really like that. And again, it's probably nostalgic because it reminds me of like the composition of albums of my teenage days. I've also got Carnifex's Slow Death, which is a fucking savage album as well. That was 2015, maybe 2016. That's always good for a real nasty, deathy thrash album. Humanity's Last Breath, Detester, which is it's an EP. I think it's like a 4 or 5 tracks, and then there's the instrumental versions of them, and that's just like absolute darkness, which is just like the last one that I had, which is Black Tone, The Unconquerable Dark.
Ooh.
Which again is just like so fucking gloomy, and I don't know. It's like some of the heaviest and like most depressive shit that I listen to. I tend to listen to that when I'm really pissed, which probably, I don't know, it sets me down a little bit, because there's always that age-old, the people that listen to heavier music tend to be calmer people.
Yeah.
I think it probably works that way because you vent it by listening.
So I had Waffle by Seven Dust on in the car the other day, and then I'll actually, when I got home, I listened to the full album. I was like, that's such a fucking good album. It really put me in a good mood as well, because it was something that I hadn't heard for ages.
Yeah.
Was that
And
Pony?
then it come on the, because I've got a massive playlist, like massive car playlist.
Yeah.
And I just stick it on when I'm driving and stuff, and it's like, so I don't have to worry. And then all of a sudden it just fucking kicked out. I was like, oh, fucking.
Again, that's like super nostalgia though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you do tend to chase your past with music if you need a pick-me-up.
Yeah. I've noticed from something more recent nostalgia is, and I can kind of pinpoint this. So I was in a hotel in Dunoon in 2015 in February, March. It was just as the night started getting longer, and I was getting a train up for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And one night I was in the hotel room, and when you're on your own, it can get quite boring. You spend a lot of time on the internet. And I was on Metal Sucks, and they used to have this section called Metal That Doesn't Sound Like Metal. Or not metal that sounds metal, actually, what I think it is. And they were talking about Ghost's Behemoth album. And Ghost, for those who aren't in the know, are a synthwave artist, but they have a very metal approach. And literally, that entire album, you could transpose those riffs that are on a keyboard and beats to guitar and drums. And I thought
totally.
every single one of those songs could be a chuggy, deathcore-y.
There's blasting in it as well.
He's amazing, and then that kind of led me down a synthwave rabbit hole. Now, to be fair, kind of like deathcore and metalcore, because a lot of focus went onto this genre, and a lot of them on a similar label. It's got saturated beyond belief. I think there's far too many artists, but you can tell because I heard that album first, and then kind of when I heard the Black Album, they went but just for all like, ooh, synthwave artists that are hard and aggressive. And your big three are Ghost, Perturbator, and Carpenter Brut, or Brute. But the 2 albums that I will probably still re-listen to heavily are Ghost's Behemoth and Perturbator's Dangerous Days. Mm-hmm. I re-listen to those so much. I think it's because it was a completely new genre. So I think that in itself become a comfort blanket is because I felt so good when I heard something, because it's got that kind of, if you grew up in the 80s and you watched Video Nasties, you've grown up with John Carpenter films, you've grown up with the Amiga, all the SNES, all the Mega Drive and 16-bit game soundtracks. Yeah. You've grown up with like the video art of Terminator and RoboCop. It's just, those 2 synthwave albums are just like all that smushed together. Mm-hmm. So again, although it's like 2015, 2016, it's new artists, but it's I think I go to it because it's almost a nostalgic comfort blanket, because it's bringing up an 80s vibe, and bearing in mind these 2 albums came out before Stranger Things soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can tell that soundtrack was blatantly synthwave influenced.
And I think it is because they're a synth band, and it's Survive. I think they are the 2 guys.
You kicked me off on something as well. It's technically not metal, but another album I really like, and it's
Menzingers?
There's that as well. Menzingers, I absolutely adore that album. But it's an album released in 1994. Portishead, Dummy.
Oh, classic!
Fucking adore that album. And every time I hear it, I kind of, it's weird. It's one of them albums, I kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it comes around the corner and smacks me in the face again. I'm like, fucking hell, what such a good album that is. It's unbelievable.
I think that's one of those albums where you try and find someone that doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It's like more difficult.
Well, if you don't like that album, then I don't want to know you.
So that's the trip off. I like Massive Attack's Mezzanine, although
yeah,
I
that's great.
A lot of purists go, no, it's all about blue lines, which is kind of nice in a way to know that even outside of the realm of metal, you still get elitists who go, the first album's better.
Yeah.
What about new albums for Comfort Blankets? So I'm just going to reel off some of the ones since about 2015, if we have that as like the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And I would say other albums now that I still regularly listen to. Cattle Decapitation's Anthropocene Extinction, if I'm right. I can't remember.
I remember Piggy knew
Incendiary's 1,000 Yard Stare, yeah. And Knocked Loose, Laugh Tracks, and Black Crown Initiate.
Tune.
Selves I Can't Forgive.
Well, I don't say
those
tune, I should say
four
album.
albums, they've all come out sort of post 2015, but I still re-listen to them, and they are, I would say, the future Heartworks. And if I'm even going to go to 2017, Discarnate, their most recent album, I'd say.
I think with them as well, I think they need to kind of follow it up with something now. That's good, that Discarnate album, don't get me wrong. But if they fucking come with another one and smash it out of the park, that could be their, build on what they've done.
But yeah, that's probably a lot of my. They could quite easily. I could make a playlist with just all those bands.
Yeah.
What there is as well, I've not reeled off any Slipknot. No Lamb of God. And even though I love them, I've not even mentioned the Gojira album in there because I can just pick and choose tracks from loads of Gojira albums.
Yeah.
Weird. There's some big hitter bands
even
there
though
that I've not even knocked off. I'd say the biggest band on there is Metallica, and that's one album.
Yeah.
Wow. Even though I could, All Way of Flesh by Gojira is fucking brilliant from start to finish. I absolutely adore that album. But yeah, you're right. It's like I wouldn't go to it.
It's not a comfort album.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for it for my comforts.
Weird.
You need an album that's going to give you like a warm hug. It's like, there's a nice little party going on. It's like a Clutch album. It's like
familiar. It's nice.
Yeah, that's what I like in Clutch too. It's like there's a fucking barbecue going on. Come on, they're playing at the bottom of the garden.
What a barbecue!
Why Clutch playing in December? It's winter. They should be playing like they did 4 or 5 years ago in like June or July.
Yeah,
they're a summer band.
Yeah, they totally are.
When we were talking on our festival special actually, and it really bugs me the whole exclusive performances, because it's really frustrating when you see that Clutch become the exclusive for download, because I think they would fit Bloodstock perfectly. I mean, everyone thinks, Bloodstock, it's really heavy, and at face value you look at the lineup and you go, yeah, Bloodstock's really heavy, they've got a lot of death metals, but realistically actually they will put on lots of rock/stoner bands and stuff like that, and you walk around the arena with a Clutch t-shirt and you were going to get called out at least 30 times for wearing a Clutch top. It's like, that's probably one of the biggest bands that they've not yet booked that they need to get on their bill. Because
it's weird, isn't it?
It's August.
Have you noticed when you wear your Clutch shirt?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
I do it when I wear mine. It's like, as soon as something, you just see people going, fucking nice shirt, all the time. You're like, cheers,
it's
cheers,
like
thank you.
They are the biggest cult band. But
they're like the fucking Stonecutters or some shit.
But they would suit that August, that kind of sub-headliner slot before it's dark. They would suit that 1 hour where you get, I think it's between 6 and 7 or 6:30 and 7:30. They'd get a full hour slot before the headliner. It'd still be daylight. You'd have had like a fair few beers, so you've got your buzz on. And yeah, you'd feel, you know what I mean? There'd be a smile on everyone like walks to the festival like, and like, but you just can't not but smile and feel good when you listen to Clutch.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you if you can't.
You've got no soul.
Yeah, exactly. You have got no soul. It's in a fucking Tesco carrier bag somewhere.
Or you're Thanos and you're going to click your fingers.
I'm just thinking of that picture I sent you the other day. We ain't going into that shit.
No.
The newer albums, I think, are my comfort blankets. Leprous, Melina, which I listen to regularly. It's got real good sound. It's really soft and warm. It's great. Weirdly, 65 Days of Static, the No Man's Sky.
I remember seeing them live.
Original soundtrack.
Fucking hell.
That is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
That might be better than the game. Well, it is at the minute. Pending update. And also, like I said before, Fit for an Autopsy, a great collapse. Love that album. Love everything about that album. The last 2 releases they've had have been just phenomenal. And I know they're like finishing up work on the next one, so sweet. Yeah,
that's quick work for them, isn't it?
I know. And that was only out like what, 2016?
Yeah. Because then they played Techfest.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it with Techfest.
So good. But yeah, I understand you've also got some shout-outs that you want to give, Terry.
I have, yes. As well, you guys can see, your listeners can't. I'm wearing a t-shirt now, which is, I don't know if you want to read it out, guys.
Music is my medicine. In music, we trust.
Exactly.
A message we can all get behind.
Damn
exactly.
Right.
And it's in musicwetrust.co.uk, and 50% of all the sales from all of his merch. He's got hats, stickers, t-shirts. Everything's really reasonably priced. I mean, t-shirt I'm wearing was £12. You can't fucking argue with that. And it all goes towards mental health charities.
It's good. Nice t-shirt.
And it's good. And yes, it is a nice t-shirt. I should be buying some more when I eventually get some money.
Cool.
And there's another one, a lovely lady that I met at Techfest called Nicole. She's got a website which is finished. She's featuring us on it as well. It's alternatebeans.com, and it's all about positive outputs. Looks at different ways of thinking and creating output to help people's lifestyles.
Cool.
So she's a lovely lady. So yeah, go to www.alternatebeans.com and she'll be look at all her things she's got to say on there. She's as I said before, she's a lovely lass. Looking forward to seeing her at Techfest.
It's cool. I like the idea that she's like giving a little write-up. That's nice.
Yeah, she's given us a really nice write-up. So yeah, she's a good friend of mine. So yeah, go check her out.
Cool. So I think we're going to finish out this episode, and I don't know what we're going to talk about next. I think the next podcast will be post Techfest, so we're probably going to do some recordings whilst we're there. Mm-hmm. Probably transcribe some stuff for the website, which is mentalhealth.co.uk, and probably splice in some like clips from Techfest. So that'll be cool. So speak to you next time.
Bye all.
Bye.